Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of BS for Build. In this episode, we're gonna pick the paint for the RX7, and then we're gonna work on getting the RX7 ready to be painted. Stay tuned. Oh, the dog set off the car alarm. Man, that's not smart. So this time, rather than going to the paint shop and calling Chelsea immediately and asking her opinion on things looking over the phone, I decided to bring her. So we're on the way to the paint shop right now, and we're gonna go look at a bunch of different colors and see what we think looks best for the RX7. Let's hope Dennis is working. I love annoying Dennis with my questions. I brought a couple samples. This is out of our fender, which is a darker red, and then this is off the actual car body, which is a lighter red. Chelsea's saying she likes this pink because it has the pearls in it. Is that pearl or metallic?
Probably Mary Kay.
Ooh. All right, quick in and out. Super quick, right, Chelsea?
So fast.
Oh, okay, we might have spent two and a half hours. So we went with a red. It's a very cool red. It's kind of like a candy with a little bit of sparkles in it. It's not technically a candy though, because I'm not gonna spray for 8 or 9 hours. You have to spray between 4 and 5 coats for a candy, so we're not doing that. It's a really good looking color. Can't wait to show you guys that. But it's really expensive. Apparently red paints are more expensive. So, you know, the most expensive job I think we'd done before was the Aston job, and that cost $500 in materials. This was 960 bucks in just materials. So this is one that I really can't mess up. Finally on my way to the shop now. It's a really late start, the latest start I've gotten thus far on this build. A bunch of stuff just happened today that we had to take care of. So late start means late night. Things are gonna get a little crazy. The schedule is just stacked. There's no more room to take out of the schedule, so gotta be working every day, and gotta get everything done to stay up on schedule. We only have like 4 more days, and also, you know, there's some things with the weekend coming up. There's some things that have to happen during the week, like the windshield's gotta get replaced, and tires gotta get put on the wheels. I gotta go to the DMV. Those types of things that just, once the weekend rolls around, we're out of time. So before I go to the shop though, I need to get some more supplies, some building supplies. So I'm gonna head over to Home Depot and grab some stuff. All right, we got enough supplies. We should be able to build all night. Can't wait to get back to the shop. I want to show you guys this color that we got for the car. I think you're really gonna like it. We're back in the paint booth. I got the paint right here. Let me show you what it's gonna look like. I got a little gray primer cap. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this with this so I can kind of show you what the color is gonna look like. I guess I could just show you guys like this. So that is basically the color. That's the best I could kind of show you it. It's a nice, like, it's got a lot of deepness to it, got a lot of depth. Got a little bit of sparkles in there, a little bit of metallic flake. It's a bit of a silver and gold metallic flake mix inside the paint. And when you have that gold in there, I feel like for the red, when the light hits that gold, it really pops and makes that red stand out as red. So it's a modification to the stock red that we already had. It's not super duper far off, but it definitely adds a personalized twist. And that's what I was really looking for with this car. Is I wanted to keep it red. I wanted to keep it like an homage to the red RX7, but I wanted it to be a little bit different. And I didn't want it to be like full on crazy candy apple, dark, dark, dark. So this really was, this was what I wanted, which is why I spent $1,000 for it. Okay, I want to build something. We don't have very long. Up there is where I'm gonna do my inlet. That conduit is 1 inch too low. If I can move it up 1 inch, it can be out of the way for my fan box. So that is what I wanna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up there, and I gotta pry a board off and change some things, add a little bit more room for the conduit, slide it up, and then I should be able to get my vent box in there. Thankfully, that's the hard part done. So what I did was I went over to the breaker box, turned off the power to that conduit going over to the shop, and then cut and wedged a hole up so it could move up higher. Moved that up 1 inch, and that got the box in there, slid the box in there, and then drilled it in with those brackets to the wall basically. It's not 100% airtight. I'm probably gonna do a little spray foam in there because there's about a 32nd of an inch gap between two of those boards, but overall it's pretty good. So that is the opening that our filter goes in, and this is our filter material that we ordered. It looks like some nasty stuff. It's fiberglass, it's crunchy, and I don't know much about it. It said it was like 2.5 inches thick. It does not look that thick at all. I'm not sure if I should let it expand to be that thick or if I should just double it up. But basically, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that box full of filter material, and then we're gonna put the face on it and get ready to get the fans back up there. That got exciting there for a second. I don't know if you guys could tell, but the filter box actually slipped out of my hand. The ladder shifted under my weight. I went to reposition and the filter box fell out of my hand and fell onto the ground. Luckily, it didn't hit anything on the way down and it didn't break itself. So I got it back up there and got it all bolted in there. Now it's like super secure and on there. So last piece of the puzzle is bringing up the fans, obviously. I'm gonna go ahead and lift the fans up there and try and screw them in. They attach on that bottom railing there, and hopefully we can get them in there nice and secure. God, it feels good to have those up there finally. Jeez, that was a struggle. But once I got them up there, it was all really easy because that thing, you know, it seems a little sketchy, but it's actually engineered very well. So once I got the fans up there and sat them into place, they didn't really want to go anywhere. It was just getting them up there was a bit of a struggle. So the idea is the front lips of those fans sit on that inner 2x4. There's an inner ledge to that box. They sit on there, that holds them from side to side. Then I've also screwed that lower railing into the frame box. That holds it from wanting to go anywhere side by side. The lower beam here holds it in there flush and straight, and that little piece of wood is basically a shim that's also again holding it from wanting to go side by side, but also levels it out so they're flush against the filter box. So it's all really good. There's a little bit of work left to do. There's a little, we need a little ducting tape on the side there. I mean, it's duct tape, but it's actual tape that's meant for ducting, and that's gonna go right around those fan blades there. And I'm gonna do that when I do the patch up there to block off that hole and the spray foam up there tomorrow. So that's all really good. I'm very happy that that's done. We're gonna go ahead and run the wiring along the ceiling and then down. Also, I heard that mounting them up that high is also a benefit for safety as well. So that's cool. Next thing we got to do is work on our exhaust fan. So I'm going to use one of these fans as an exhaust fan. The other one will sit unused. I think it'll be plenty. We want to have more positive pressure. So those two fans should equal about 6,000 to 7,000 CFM, maybe 5,000 if we're unlucky. Where this is about a 4,000 CFM fan on high. So what I need to do now is build a frame around this. And I think, by the looks of it, I could figure out how to build a frame around it with 2x4s. Build a frame around it that can hold the filter. And so basically building a frame and a filter box. And then what I want to do is build a structure that'll hold it right there in the wall. And in the wall will always stay like a chicken wire filter box. And then this will be able to go up onto the structure and bolt onto it with the face of it onto there. Unlike the other one where the filter is on the pulling side, we can't do that on these ones because they have the cabling and the switches. So that's really unfortunate that we can't have the filter on the pull side. We have to push into the filter, which won't be as efficient, but it's kind of what we got to do. So first thing, I got to go ahead and try and figure out how to build a frame around this. Come up with what I think is a pretty solid plan. So I'm gonna build this frame on top of here. In between the frame and the fan, I'm gonna lay some chicken wire so the filter cannot land into the fan. And that little gap right there is where the filter is gonna lay. I'm gonna do one layer of filter on this because I want the outlet flow to be pretty solid. And it says it's 99.3% effective. Up there, I did 2 because I'm actually more worried about particulate flying in than I am worried about it flying out. Sorry, environment. So that's how that's gonna work. Up on the wall here is where it's gonna mount, right in there. We're gonna go ahead and cut a hole, install a grate. On the back side, I will have a permanent piece of wood that will go back in there when we're not using the fan. And then finally, we'll have some scaffolding that is meant to hold the fan, but is removable. So it's basically just gonna be like a pedestal, a stilt that you know, you can move around anywhere, and that's just a structure to hold the fan up where it needs to go. And then we'll have some 45 brackets that are always bolted into the, screwed into the door, that when the fan gets lifted up there and it's in the right spot, you screw it in so it's not moving around or jiggling around or anything else. Not too high tech, but I think it'll really do a good job, and it's nice and temporary when we need to take it out. Okay, we got the frame on there. I'm really happy that the spots in the corner are not too large. That's good. I'll block those off later on, but that's a really good start. Every ounce of my body right now wants to quit. It's midnight and everything's telling me to wrap it up, but I feel like I can squeeze out a little bit more energy. And what I'm gonna do before I go home is I'm gonna build the thing that holds this thing. So what I gotta do is I gotta measure the distance of those two legs apart and the width of those, and then I'm gonna emulate that by building a structure that's meant to hold this fan right smack dab up against the wall. It shouldn't really take that long. I got a lot of 2x4s. I got that quick cut and saw. Just gotta do a lot of measurements, cut 4 pieces up and just build. Really shouldn't be that hard. All right, I feel a lot better now that I got that done. I don't like going home with things half cooked. This came out really well. Obviously it's very square. You can see the amount of gap underneath there is really good. Lined up with the door nicely, and I got my measurement right. So that's a win. This thing's very strong, but very heavy. One weird thing is that bar right there that I had to take out. I took that off because it was making the fan sit higher on the side. It also decides the width of these two legs, because that's just like a swivel up there. So maybe I'll put some like boards coming up out of here to hold the legs in place or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll put that back and put a shim over there. Either way, that's good. Tomorrow I will be cutting a hole in the garage door and adding, I'm gonna add that grate to the outside so we can squish the filter between the grates, and it'll blow very nicely. It'll be a good blower. Good exhaust. Inlet, exhaust. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 CFM-ish, 4,500 CFM. We're gonna have airflow, boys. All right, that is a wrap for tonight. I'm getting a little delirious. I gotta be up super early in the morning because tomorrow we're supposed to be painting. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping track, but the car hasn't been sanded yet. And yeah, lots of stuff still to be done. But I got Chelsea joining me. We gotta clean this place up, get it all ready, and then get the car ready, get the car in here and spray paint. It has to be done tomorrow. It's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be crazy. But I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to our sponsor, JDM Buyer, your #1 source for JDM parts. You can buy literally through their website, you can buy parts in Japan and then have them ship them over to you for a fraction of the cost of normal shipping. It's a pretty awesome setup. Link is in the description. I hope you guys like the paint. I think a lot of you guys are gonna like the paint. I love the paint. It's the most expensive paint I've ever bought by a long shot. So I only get one shot at it, and I'm not gonna mess it up. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna spray some test panels. I'll probably like paint the ladder or something. Make sure I get it all dialed before I go on the car. And we'll see that tomorrow. You'll see that video tomorrow. You guys just cross your fingers all day long for the next 24 hours and hope I get it right. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Merch drops also, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to have time to do soon. This daily thing is getting a little chaotic. Soon, merch drops soon. I'm probably gonna wear it tomorrow. No, I won't. Yeah, I will. Okay, I'll see you then. Peace.